This enzyme is critical to the absorption of minerals, including calcium. This is key if you want to reverse your lactose intolerance, guys. This is how I reverse my lactose intolerance and why everyone should be drinking raw milk. If you do not have this enzyme, you cannot break down milk. Then all of a sudden, you get allergic to milk or you get stomach problems. This is why you should not drink pasteurized milk.
God, milk.
Oh wait, wrong joke.
What's up guys, Shuman here, welcome back to another video. So today, it's finally time that I gave you an informative video because recently I've been doing too many of the JuiceFast things where it's just basically me dragging myself to the laptop after herxing out, feeling like crap and then just going blah. So instead I'm going to be talking about a subject that a viewer has actually inspired me to do, and that is to talk about the difference between raw milk and pasteurized milk and why when you're drinking pasteurized milk you are actually killing yourself slowly and you really do need to get raw milk. To do that, I'm going to be showing you a few articles and a few studies. One of them is from a company called a government organization called the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, which if you don't know is a lovely little organization that loves to pump up propaganda like the food pyramid, which likes to advocate the fact that carbs and all this other stuff is actually really healthy for you and bread is really great for you guys, eat all of it. But still, before I get into that, if you are new to this channel, subscribe, click the notification bell if you want to see more videos like this. I will be doing more health focused, like genuine health stuff, actually informative stuff from now on. I also have a main channel, links in the description. So check that out if you're interested, and let's just get into it.
So let's have a look at the CDC. Here we have 5 raw milk myths busted, guys, busted. Oh wow, this is going to be good. I mean, this is the Center of Disease Control, which, as you know, is a massive organization that employs loads of people, has all the studies, has all the information, or does it. So here, myth number 1, raw milk is healthier and more nutritious than pasteurized milk. Let's get into that. Bullshit. Fact. Most nutritious benefits of drinking raw milk are available from pasteurized milk without risk of disease that comes from drinking raw milk. Now, the pasteurization process, if you don't know, is a heating process. So they'll basically heat the milk up until a certain point, and that was invented by a guy called Louis Pasteur, who basically believed that if you heat milk to up to a certain point, you will kill germs. This is true. This is actually fact. The problem is you'll kill everything, and just like any sort of a biological substance, it's a whole contained thing. So if you try and modify it and then try and have it for sort of nutritional benefits, it messes up the whole thing. Drinking raw milk may not be safe, but no harm will come from eating products like soft cheese, ice cream, and raw. Now, what does this study mean by harm? Like, what does it mean? Like, you can be harmed from eating anything. It doesn't make harm. It doesn't make it sound as if, oh, you will drop dead. No, you could be harmed. If I go out and I drink a perfectly clean bottle of water, that water could infect me with E. coli. There's a small chance of that. It doesn't matter about harm. There's no difference between the two. Oh, fact. Raw milk made from other products like soft cheese, ice cream, and yogurt can still be dangerous and infectious. Well, yes, everything can be infectious. It's this whole safe space argument. Oh, it's not safe enough, so the government's going to come in and they're going to make everything safe for you by labeling everything and genetically modifying it so that it's now safe to have. Milk is safe so long as it is labeled organic. No one thinks this. Again, no one in their right mind would think just because it's organic, it's absolutely fine. There's even evidence to show that if, for example, you grow stuff on an organic farm and there's a non-organic farm next to it, the pesticides will actually go through the air and get onto the organic products. The test for being organic is not, oh, is it tested afterwards? It's, is it grown on organic soil? Only organic milk that has been pasteurized is safe to drink. Again, bullshit, but we'll get into that. It has some really great and amazing studies that will actually help us with this. Raw milk and products made from raw milk, like soft cheese and yogurt, are safe if they come from healthy animals. Now, this is an annoying misnomer because it's basically trying to suggest that you shouldn't worry about whether or not your animals are healthy or not. It's the idea that it doesn't matter if it comes from confined animal feeding operations. It doesn't matter if it comes from, the arse end of nowhere from a country that has no health and regulatory standards. It's all safe, guys. Having healthy animals doesn't matter, so go out and buy your McDonald's and buy your non-organic stuff or whatever. Doesn't matter. Healthy animals can carry disease. Wow, I had no idea. If animals are raised in sanitary conditions or on humane farms, their milk is safe. Again, trying to make it seem as if it doesn't matter how well the animals are treated, it doesn't matter what sort of conditions they're in, what sort of pesticides, because Monsanto and everything else, Monsanto and the CDC are joined at the hip. It doesn't matter about all these things, just go out, and buy it. Even dairy farms with very good safe and sanitary practices contain illnesses like germs, and test the batches of farm milks, can come back negatives. This is true. Again, it's not arguing against raw milk, it's arguing against healthy and sanitary conditions. This is the thing, guys. When it comes to pasteurized milk and raw milk, the pasteurization process, and I'll just give away the secret right now, guys. The pasteurization process basically kills off all the good and the bad bacteria. Within milk, you have a healthy balance. This is why if you've ever tried, or if you've ever bought raw milk, it doesn't spoil, it curdles. It's different. If you buy pasteurized milk, it spoils, and yeah, some lumps form, but it doesn't have that sort of horrible off taste. But raw milk, even when it's gone, I still drink it. It may taste a bit different, but the probiotics will basically break it down, and what you will have is a milk that, although it's spoiled, is very, very safe to drink. Have you ever asked yourself, why is it that years and years and years ago, back in the old English times, for example, why is it that all those years ago, they didn't have refrigeration, they didn't have storage, many of them had to keep the milk long past, they had to keep lots of it in storage, they still drank it, it was still healthy. Why? Because the milk had healthy probiotics, it had healthy and strong probiotics to get that going, and those healthy and strong probiotics are the key to reversing all sorts of other health diseases like lactose intolerance, which on its own deserves its own video. But guys, I used to have lactose intolerance until I drank raw milk, and most importantly, raw milk from kefir. If you want to know more about that, ask me in the comments, but this is just talking about what's better, pasteurized or not. So let's see what of these studies is actually important, because it's got a lot of facts here. Like, it gives a lot of really important facts, like animals can carry illness, or that organic milk is apparently safe if it's dead, or stuff like that. So what studies does it source? Outbreak associated with non-pasteurized milk. There's a study that links from blah blah blah. All right, the number of outbreaks of milk has increased. Okay, here's all these statistics here. Okay, this outbreak, okay. Let me just remind you, this is the CDC. This is a big government organization. This is where you will come to get all of the information. It has not one, oh sorry, you can't see this because my screen is that. It has not one study, guys, but 2 studies. It has 2 studies that we're meant to automatically trust and agree with, to throw out all of our preconceptions, to forget about all of our ancestral history and all that other stuff. It doesn't matter. 2 studies. The number of outbreaks linked to raw milk has increased. Oh no, from this one study, 81 outbreaks caused by raw milk. Okay, you know, children are at risk. Oh no, legalization. Oh no. So again, 2 studies. 2 studies, and I'd like you to pay attention to this website. I will leave a link in the description of how much investment and time that they put into this, and all of these really informative infographics that are just telling you about pathogens that are found in milk. Guess what? The one thing that Louis Pasteur noticed on his deathbed, he realized towards the end of his life that pasteurization did not work, that you do not catch germs. You cannot simply kill them. Germs exist within you all the time. You are carrying all of these horrible germs like cholera, like E. coli, like all of the other things. What is important is the environment. Are you healthy? Is your body healthy? I often say that you don't catch a disease, you earn a disease, which is a very, very hard thing for people to understand. People think that, oh, just walking down the road and then whack, you know, cancer just hits you. No, this is a very hard pill to swallow. You earn cancer. There are such things as genetic predispositions, but the bottom line is that you can live a cancer-free life, even though everyone in your family has gotten cancer. It doesn't have to be cancer, it could be anything. Some other genetically hereditary disease, like heart disease or whatever. You can go through your whole life and not get that. But it just means that you have to take care of yourself even more. You don't catch it, you earn it. I always encourage people to research. What you will notice about this website is that the CDC earns millions. It is a multi-million-dollar funded government organization. It has 2 studies to back up its claims, and it gives no counter studies. Counter studies from, you know, important sources like Harvard, for example. Harvard study: pasteurized milk from industrial dairies linked to cancer. The milk we drink today is quite unlike the milk our ancestors were drinking without the apparent form for 2,000 years, is quoted to. The milk we drink today may not be nature's perfect food. It's the same thing with everything. The same reason why people say, oh, In my day, I used to be able to eat bread really, really easy. I could just eat all the bread I want and it was fine. Oh, you know, back thousands of years ago, why is it that they were eating wheat? Why? Because the wheat and the dairy we're drinking is not like before. The animals are not filled with hormones and chemicals. They're not fed crappy food. It's not normal, and it's not it's not raw. It's not properly raw. It's not been pasteurized. The doctor goes on to say, milk from modern dairy farms are the culprit, referring to large-scale confinement operations. CAFOs, they are horrible, absolutely horrible, where cows are milked for 300 days of the year, including when they're pregnant. Now, you can imagine the amount of stress that goes into the animal when they're milked like this. All the pain, all the stress. If you've seen it, guys, I mean, this is why people go vegan. Like, if you actually watch some of these videos, the horrible conditions that these cows are in. I mean, this is why I think raw milk, if you can get raw milk from free-range cows, it's the best, because it doesn't have all the stress hormones like cortisol, you know, inside of it. It doesn't have the grass-fed hormones. If you can get it raw and organic, you won't have all this other stuff. And there's loads of research to show that all those hormones, you drink them. And pasteurized milk is full of these hormones because all of these animals are being pumped full of these chemicals to keep them up, to keep them standing, to keep them producing. And if you've seen the udders on these cows, oh wow, the udders on these cows are huge. It is not natural. I remember driving down the countryside, and I must have seen the udders were the size of like 3 times the size of my head. It was disgusting. And just to go into a bit more detail about this, guys, because again, the links are in the description. Do your own research. I am just the messenger. Again, this describes more what I was talking about. The test for pasteurization is called the negative alpha test. When milk is heated over a certain amount and pasteurization is complete, the enzyme phosphatase is destroyed. That enzyme is critical to and this is key if you want to reverse lactose intolerance, this enzyme is critical to the absorption of minerals, including calcium. This is key if you want to reverse your lactose intolerance, guys. This is how I reverse my lactose intolerance and why everyone should be drinking raw milk. If you do not have this enzyme, you cannot break down milk. Then all of a sudden, you get allergic to milk or you get stomach problems. This is why you should not drink pasteurized milk. The study, which tracks 61,000 women and lots of men, found that the more cow's milk people drank, the more likely they were to die or experience bone fractures. Basically, TLDR, if you don't want to have to read through this whole article, when you pasteurize the milk, you kill off all the good enzymes. What happens is then calcium floods into the bloodstream. It is not buffered, it is not broken down. The body it uses all of its reserves. It uses its sulfur reserves, which is why I recommend everyone to take sulfur. It uses all of its magnesium reserves. It uses phosphorus reserves to balance the calcium out. This is also the key to teeth healing. If you have a problem with your teeth and you want to heal your teeth, you have to get this balance right. Calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, and sulfur as well. If you get that balanced out, and there's loads of others, all of a sudden the bones will start to heal because the minerals aren't, you know, going around like a pinball in a machine that's been thrown out at 100 miles an hour, just crashing into things. No, the calcium will fit in, and you can avoid issues like osteoporosis, and you can reverse bone fractures and teeth issues. All of the research is there. There is a war going on raw milk, just to close this out. There is a war going on raw milk. There's a war going on in a lot of healthy stuff, which is partly why I need to get these kinds of videos out and why I need to pump out more content like this to really spread the message, is that people's health is under attack. And if you look at stuff like this, whereby they basically passed a rule in the United States basically saying, again, like the study said, that, you know, because of this one outbreak, they legislated laws to limit the sale of raw milk because of one outbreak. No external studies were done, nothing else was done. And there are horrific stories of dairy farms being raided by the CDC, by all sorts of other government organizations to shut them down. And recently, in my farmer's market, because I live in the UK, my farmer's market recently, they stopped selling raw milk. Why? Because they had an E. coli scare that turned out to be a false positive. They are now fighting in court to allow them to basically to be able to sell this raw milk. And the lady I was talking to, she was like, look, our milk is fine, but they're dragging their feet, and they're making it so that very difficult for us to keep reselling raw milk. There is a war going on your health. Anyway, on the bright side, raw milk is still available in most places, and you can reverse your osteoporosis. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Hope this was informative. I am just slowly getting over this whole I've got lots of information and I'm trying to be too perfectionist, so expect more of these rapid fire videos whereby I go through research and stuff. If you have any sort of questions as to what to do or anything else, post it in the description. That's all I'll say for today. Freeman out, and links in the description. Peace. Thanks for watching, guys. I've been Freeman. If you like what you see, I have a main channel where I talk about all things non-health and health. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the DMs, as well as an email that's currently in the description. If you want to make a request for a video, if you just want to support me, Patreon and PayPal links will be in the description. Any amount helps. Regardless, I'll still be here, still be posting. Freeman out, and peace.